Hey beauties, it's Riri. Today we are going to be doing a full face of new makeup to me, of course. A lot of this is from Kate, and then I also picked up a few things from Klarity Kosmetics. Yeah, so we're going to dive in. I'm going to be playing with this Beauty Bay. This is the Earthy palette, so I'm really excited to test this out. It is very much kind of like my vibe and my aesthetic. And to my knowledge, other than the Nikki Tutorials palette, I don't think I've tried a whole lot from Beauty Bay. I did get this from Kate in our swap. And it is a beautiful, like, grungy green leaning palette. So we're going to do our eyes first. I'm going to prep really quickly with my ABH eye primer, and then I'll be right back. All right, and even though my hair is mostly out of my way, I want to make sure that it's all the way out of our way. I personally don't know how people do their makeup with their hair all up in their face. I mean, look, I know you're trying to be cute and have your little curls in front of your face, but I'm not a fan of it. It drives me nuts, like, just personally having it in front of my face. I think I just want to do something very easy, and I really want to play with the shimmers in here. I will swatch a couple of the shimmers. I'm going to swatch Satellite Pixie. Moss. Moss feels a little bit harder in the pan, but feels really, really nice. And let's do Lime. If you guys want to see full swatches, let me know, and I'll pop up like a shorts video or something. But I really think I want to do one of my looks where I play with basically the shimmers on the eyes. Hopefully you're okay with that. I love to do that. I think it's super beautiful. It's impactful, and it's incredibly easy. I literally go in with my fingers. So I think first up I'm going to go right here into Cava, I believe is how you pronounce that. And with this, I'm going to use my pinky. You could also go in with a flat brush. You could go in with a detail brush. You could go in with a silicone applicator. Whatever makes you feel like the best version of yourself, do that. But I like to do this, and I like to do this prior to doing my base and stuff like that. Just in case there's a little bit of fallout, a little bit of kind of sparkle and glitter kind of falling down. And I like to keep it pretty low, kind of down below my hood. And then sometimes I'll go in with just a crease shade that's a little bit light and just kind of blend the edges of these. But I like to do this. Next up, I think, are we going to do 3 colors or 4? Oh, I don't know. I think I'm going to go into Lime. Right here. Oh, that is so pretty. And that first shade had a little bit more kind of flakiness to it, or like a little bit more texture, a little bit more sparkle to it. This one seems to be a little bit more smooth. And then kind of where they meet, I just take my finger and kind of feather it a little bit. Again, keeping it low. I'm going to try for 4 shades. I don't know how that's going to work, but you know, we'll see what happens. So I'm going to go into Sage right here. Also, just using my finger. This one is a little less kind of sparkly and shimmery. This is more what I would call a traditional like shimmer, like a sparkle or metallic shade. And then last up, I'm going to go right here into the deep green called Moss. And put this on the outer corner. And with this, I can be a little bit more messy, and I'm going to intend on being a little bit more messy because I can clean this up. But because I have so much skin that kind of droops down right here, and you know, we're more mature, okay, we're 44, we got some stuff going on. It's kind of hard sometimes for me to get product right in here. So we'll make it a little messy and we'll just clean it up. Wiping my finger off again, I want to go back into Cava or Cava. And just reinforce that. I will put that on the inner corner as well when we go to do our base. That is stunning. I think I'm going to keep it like it is and maybe just add Seahorse, which is this beautiful soft minty shade. And I'm going to go in with a fluffy brush. There's zero, and I mean zero, kick up in the pan at all. And I'm just going to kiss the very top of this just to give myself something right here. I also have the beautiful purple leaning palette of this. I think it's maybe called Midnight or something that she sent me. I have a few Plouise. I also have a few Plouise palettes that she sent me. So if you guys want to see those, just let me know. All right, I think that is stunning. I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. I'm going to go in with some primer. This is the Plouise Hydrate, the Heartbreak. This is not new to me, but I'm still kind of testing it out. If you are looking for something that is quite hydrating, but very, very light and doesn't have a harsh scent or anything like that. I think this is a great alternative. So gonna do the other eye off camera, add some primer, and I'll BRB. All right, so as you can see, really beautiful, really impactful, but incredibly easy as you can get, pretty much. Next up, I'm going into the Fyne Art Beauty Skin Tint. This is the shade 5. The packaging on this, I think, is stunning. It does say to shake well. And if you know, you know, I love skin tints, so I'm really excited for this. And actually, before I do this, I lied. I have to try something else first. Let me get a brush out. I want to test out this ABH cream bronzer that I got in my icon box this month. This is in the shade Amber. I really like the packaging on this. It does have a protective cover over it, which I appreciate, and that is the shade. And solely because I'm not sure how this is going to play with everything else, and I'm not sure how dark it's going to be, if it's going to be too warm, whatever the case may be. I always like to go with these types of products first, blend them out, and then, especially if I'm doing like a tint or using my e.l.f. Halo Glow, which I use almost every single time, this, if it's too dark, too rich, gets muddy, gets patchy, you can still save your makeup and then add your products and add your base products on top. So I'm going to go in with a firm brush, and typically I like to work from the back of my hand and really make sure that I saturate the brush kind of all over, but also evenly. I feel like this is going to be fine. And with products like this, something that I'm not used to, the formula or I don't know if the shade is going to be okay for me, I start very high up, closer to my hairline, and then kind of really push it into the hairline. I like something a little more bronzy, and this is looking a little bit more orangey, but we'll see. I mean, I am aiming for orange today. I think I'm gonna use like orange blush. I'm wearing orange nails, orange shirt, so I don't mind it. It's just not my favorite. But it is blending out really, really well. I don't smell a harsh fragrance or anything like that. And the reason that I do this, especially if I'm doing this and not putting my base on top of it, is if I'm starting off with a blush, contour, you know, whatever product, and it's a little too harsh, when I put my hair down, you don't really see it. I'm just going to go back in and honestly just use the product that I have here. I like that this has already kind of started like setting down a little bit, so it looks a little bit more kind of emollient and creamy upon first application, but it's already drying down, so I really like that. I don't like anything that has any type of tackiness to it at all, like, you know, gripping primers, tacky primers and stuff like that. They are not for me. I do not understand the hype, but I'm also somebody that has very dry skin, so I don't really need a gripping primer like that. Okay, I don't mind it. We'll see what it looks like once I get the base on top of it. Not my favorite shade. Okay, yeah, not my favorite as far as color goes. The texture and consistency, blendability and stuff like that, I really think is great. Now we'll go in with the Fyne Art Beauty tint. I'm using my LYS Beauty foundation brush. And it does look like this. And again, I always work from the back of my hand. I'm going to put a little bit down. That looks very orange too. That does not look like what this bottle is looking like, y'all. I'm a little nervous, which, okay, it's a tint, so hopefully it will blend out. Again, I go from the back of my hand. Oh, man. Oh, okay, it's not as bad on the skin. It feels literally like a gelled water type of consistency. Like a gel cleanser, but very thin like water. And I like to press and tap the product into place, especially because I still want to definitely see, obviously, the bronzer from underneath, or if I was using, you know, using contour for underneath or blush underneath. And actually, now that I'm putting this on top, that looks stunning. And I'm very much a less is more beauty. I do have large pores, I do have texture, I have mature skin. So I definitely take a less is more approach, and I find that that works for me. If you have oily skin, this is definitely not for you. Oh, that is pretty. Ooh, very pretty. Okay, I like this. It may even be a little too much for me, but we also have a hydrating primer as well as having this on, so I'll get up close and show you guys. So you can see over here, even seeing this, you can definitely see I have broken capillaries, uneven skin tone. I do have rosacea, and I have a lot of scarring from breakouts and stuff when I was younger. And you can see you can still see things peeking through. You can still see some spots peeking through, but overall it has evened the skin tone. And I love the dewy nature to this. I'm gonna set this, and I think if you have oily skin, you do not want this. This is not, it's not for you. It may even, for spring and summer months, it's too much even for myself. The coverage though, I think is stunning. The way that it looks absolutely beautiful. All right, let me do this side off of camera. I'll be right back. All right, and there is the complexion finished. Too dewy for me even, and you guys know I love dewy. So I am gonna go in and I'm gonna test out this Dominique Cosmetics Smooth and Blur Setting Powder. I think I got this in my Chic Beauty box. And I do not use a whole lot of powders because, you know, I have dry skin. But I do want to test this. I've heard that it is quite blurring, but very, very soft and like finely milled. So I'm hoping that it does okay. Again, I'm not going to use a whole lot, but I do feel like I need some. My favorite powders are the Fenty Beauty one, like the Pro Filter one. And I also love the Charlotte Tilbury Pressed Powder. And I like the e.l.f. Halo Glow. So I am going to tap some off into the lid. It does definitely look very finely milled. It literally feels like nothingness. Ooh, I'm excited. And I am going to go in with my Trigwell Cosmetics sponge, also from Kate. I like this sponge so much that I ordered the limited edition yellow one. And for me, especially somebody that does not use a ton of powder, that's saying something. And I don't have any concealer or anything. I'm not somebody that uses a ton of concealer, so I'm not really worried about making sure that everything is completely set. I want to do one side first. Whoa. And then get up close and show you guys. And the way I like to do this, you can probably tell, I'm taking it and putting it in, and then I'm tapping it off down here on my little counter thing. Again, I'm going in a less is more approach. I do not need a lot of powder at all, but this is a little too glowy for me, so I am using some today. Right away, incredibly blurring. Like, stunning. Stunning. If you do have oily skin, you can obviously go in with more. You can bake if you needed to. I don't typically feel like it's super necessary. But if you're a performer or something like that too, baking helps to prolong the wear of your makeup. So again, I'm using the tiniest little bit, and I'm going to get up close. I have no words. All right. So you can see on this side, definitely, look, I have pores. I'm human. I have a face. I have skin. It's fine. And I don't mind it. It's a little too glowy, a little too much going on this side. But, I mean, do you see that? Do we see this? That is beautiful. And this is coming from somebody that I don't like powder. I don't use much powder at all. That is nice. That might be my new favorite. I'm going to see how it wears throughout the day. And what I mean by that is I don't have a problem with oils. That's not ever an issue for me. But I have a problem with powders caking through here in my smile lines, throughout my nose, and then above my brow. That is where I'm like incredibly dry at. So I'm going to update you guys, and I will let you know how it wears. And I think the puff definitely helps too. It really kind of helps push everything into the skin and mesh it into the skin, as opposed to really just kind of sitting on top of the skin. Oh, that is so pretty. Oh, I hope this wears well. Like, I really hope this wears well, you guys. This is nice. I am shocked. And I cannot remember who commented on my video, but thank you for telling me to keep this and use this. I'm going to go back in with... No, I'm not. I don't like the color of this. I don't like this. I'm putting it to the side. Let me grab a bronzer really quickly. I'm just going to go in with my Hoola Glow. I have my everyday makeup drawers right beside me. I'm going to do a Shop My Stash soon and pick new everyday makeup. So I just want to kind of reinforce that. I feel like, you know, obviously when you put powder on, it kind of blanks the canvas again. Next up, I think I'm just going to use the same exact brush. I am ready to try out these freaking Made by Mitchell blushes. The packaging is massive and they are pretty massive themselves. So if you do not like clunky packaging, these are not for you. I love everything I've tried from Made by Mitchell, so I'm excited. I have the shade 90s Nude, Ain't It Almond, and All Riped Up. So I will swatch them for you guys and show you. This one right here is 90s Nude, which to me is more terracotta-y. So this is 90s Nude. Oh, that feels super soft. Yeah, that's definitely more like peachy, tangerine-y. Still beautiful though. And y'all, that's, I mean, those are my preferred blush shades. This one is All Riped Up, and they do like just kind of flip up. This one is orange, very hot orange. Again, feels very smooth, very soft in texture. And then the other one is Ain't It Almond. And this one's leaning a little bit more neutral, definitely has a little bit more neutrality to it, but this one has a little bit of, not even necessarily a shimmer, just a little lit from within type of glowiness to it, which I think is going to be stunning. Do I want to try this one? I think I'm going to go with this one. And this honestly kind of reminds me a little bit of the Hoola bronzer. Definitely a little too, definitely pigmented. I don't mind pigment. I prefer one that I can build up, so I'm going to see if I can just kind of build it up a little bit and sheer it out as I need to. There's definitely a lot of kick up in the pan. I don't mind that. I just like to note it for you guys. I'm going in with next to none. All right, yeah. I definitely think that if you like something that is, you know, like me, that's buildable, doesn't like, you know, pack a punch straight away, I think you would like this. Oh, that color. Oh my gosh. And just, oh, the little bit of a luminous quality that it has to it. That is stunning, you guys. Next up, I'm going to spray my face as I always do after I'm done with all my powder products and prior to my highlighter. I'm just going to go with MAC Fix Plus. You can use whatever is your favorite. And then before it dries down all the way, I go in with a dry sponge and I lightly tap. And I mean, I'm barely putting any pressure at all on the skin, you guys. I lightly tap, and what this does, and it works for oily skin as well, but especially for me having more dry skin and I'm using powder products, this just kind of takes everything down a little bit, kind of meshes everything in together, takes all the powder down, and it just makes everything kind of become one with the skin as opposed to sitting on top of the skin. It looks beautiful. I've done this for many, many years and it works great. Next up, I've been testing this and I'm really loving it, and I didn't think I was going to love it, and I'll tell you why. It's the Klarity Kosmetics, the Face and Body Highlighter in the shade Pressure. I do have an affiliated code with Klarity Kosmetics. It's just RERE10 for 10% off. But when I first saw this, oh honey, it scared me. The packaging and stuff's really pretty. I mean, it's standard component. It's a little bit cheaper, but they are a handmade, hand-pressed brand, so I do not mind it. But when I first saw this, I am not somebody that likes a sparkly, glittery highlight, like at all. None. And even when I swatched it in my first little video and stuff, and I tested it the other night, I was like, yep, not gonna like it. And I'll show you just a swatch and stuff. But as you can see, even from when I very first showed it to now, it is glittery if you apply it in that way. If you apply it with a more dense brush or apply more. But if you go in with a fluffy brush and you kind of just tap into it and then go to the cheeks, it's still quite intense, like very intense, but it goes from looking too much, like sparkly and glittery and not my vibe at all. But if you keep playing with it and you manipulate it a little bit, it becomes this very smooth, very glass-like formula, and it lasts so long on the skin. I've also used this for my brow bone. I've also used it for the inner corner, and it's gorgeous, and it lasts all day. This, with a strapless dress or something like that, and using it at kind of full opacity with the glitter and stuff, all of your collarbones and your shoulders, oh my gosh. Especially given that it's it's basically waterproof. I mean, that's not their claim, but it lasted forever. And the big swatch that I had done on my hand, I washed dishes and everything and it was still in the back of my hand. And I also got the chocolate palette. I paid for this myself, by the way. I also got the chocolate palette. It smells like chocolate. It is absolutely perfect. I hate the pressed glitter in it. That's just me. I don't like pressed glitters in a palette. But yeah, when I saw this, for me to, you know, kind of originally or at first be like, ah, I'm not using this. And then to like have an immediate like love for it. It's stunning. But if you do like, you know, wham bam, you can be seen from outer space and you like the sparkle and the glitter, it's also gonna work for you. But I mean, you can see how, I mean, look, that's intense. So I love that. I love, and I don't really feel like you find that a whole lot in, you know, in highlights. I feel like kind of what you get is what you get. You know what I'm saying? And you can't really manipulate them that much. But I like the fact that you can kind of play around with this, and depending on how you apply it and how much and with what type of brush, you're going to achieve a different result each time. I mean, that's stunning. It might still be a little too much, still a little too glowy, especially on the tip of the nose. But that's all right. I love it. I think it's stunning. And the long wearability for me, you guys know, is the most important thing for me personally with makeup. So I love it. All right, we're going to finally finish up the eyes. I am going to go into a tiny little pencil brush. And I think I'm going to try more shades. I think I'm going to go into Satellite right here. And this is more of like a silvery shade, so hopefully it matches. Yeah, that looks great. And you could also go in with this. I will let you guys know how they wore, obviously, because I just did primer and not like a sticky base. But I can also go in and test these out and use them with a sticky base, use like my NYX glitter glue, and then update you guys on that as well. But for just having a kind of standard base, if you will, or just a standard eye primer, they're working fine. I think I'm going to stay in the same little pencil brush. I think I'm going to go right here into Cobra, which is kind of like a mid-tone sagey type green. And I'm going to put that on the lower lash line just to give myself a little bit of depth over here. All right, next up, we are going to go into the One Size Fantasize Ultimate Lifting and Lengthening Mascara. I just got a mini of it. And it was like a free something, but some kind of purchase. I did lightly curl my lashes. And as always, I will do one side, get up close, and let's see what it does. All right. Oh, these are not my favorite kind of wands. I do not like the spiky ones. I like a more kind of fluffy brush applicator. And this one feels a little bit stiff, not like kind of soft and flexible the way that the Maybelline Sky High is. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We always give everything a fair shot. I just feel like, especially because my vision is not the best, y'all, I tend to stab myself with these. Alright, so far, it does seem to be kind of grabbing and lengthening everything. It is a blacker formula, which I like, and it does seem like a drier formula. These are just not my favorite kinds of wands, which if you love a wand, a lot of these are like standard as far as the component size. I don't know if this one is because it's a mini. And obviously be careful and you don't want to, you know, cross-contaminate and things like that. But I have taken mascaras that I did not like and then used applicators that I did like, you know, and just switch them out. So that's up to you. You know, do that with caution, of course, and definitely be cautious about eye products like mascaras. I know we invest a lot of money in our makeup and we don't want to have to toss things, but you really do not want to use a mascara longer than 3 to 4 months. And I'm very particular about that and very cautious about that, especially having very sensitive eyes and having allergies. I feel like this honestly might be a little too dry. Like, I feel like I'm having to, you know, layer and layer and layer. But with that being said, layering it, it's not getting, you know, thick and cakey and spidery. It's nice. It's not like the greatest thing I've ever used, but I think it's really pretty. All right, I'll do the other side and then I'll be right back. We're gonna do our lips and we'll be done. All right, there's both eyes done. It's good, it's okay. I feel like if you are a length beauty and you just want length, then I think you'll like it. Next up, we're gonna go into some Klarity Kosmetics Luxe Lip Liners. I got 2 shades. I got Milk Dud and Bourbon. I will swatch these for you as well. Again, I bought these with my own money. That is what the packaging looks like. I wish that the bottom was indicative of maybe what shade was in the inside, because That is really tiny. So we have Milk Dud. And these are kind of more nudie, neutrally shades. They are my preference when it comes to liners. Oh my goodness, that feels very creamy. But also feels like it has some kind of weight and grip to it. Oh, that's pretty. And then I also got Bourbon. Which is honestly just a little bit deeper, kind of still in that same like family tonally. Ooh, I think I'm gonna do the darker one. We'll see what happens. All right, so this is the shade Bourbon. All right, that is beautiful. I will say, I don't know if it's because I already had product on. I always start off every video with my Too Faced lip injection or my JOUER lip treatment. This is like super creamy. Like you could coat the entire lip, which could be a good thing or a bad thing. Good thing because it feels good, it glides well. You can coat the entire lips with it. It's quite opaque, which I like, but sometimes that means they're not gonna last as long. So I'll also update you on that. And then last, but certainly not least, I'm going in with the Made by Mitchell Nude Mood Beam Gloss. And again, I kind of wanted something, you know, more orangey peachy today to go with the green. And I used this before, but it was a little too light. That's why I'm revisiting it. Because I figured with a darker lip liner and then this, it would be beautiful. Oh, yeah. The glosses are beautiful. I like the little bit of kind of flush of color to it. They're not super, super opaque. You may be able to build it up to that, but because it's lighter, I did not do that. No stickiness or anything like that. I think they're lovely. Let's get up close and personal with the finished look. All right, the only things that I feel like really didn't work for me per se, the bronzer, it's beautiful. And I hate when people say, oh my God, I hated this because it was the wrong shade. Like you picked the wrong shade. You know what I'm saying? I didn't pick this, it came out of my box. The texture of this, the way that it kind of blurred the skin, the way that it blended out, the way that I believe that you could build it up and stuff like that, love. So if you got your right shade, I think you would like this. The mascara, it's just okay. I like a little bit more kind of curl and a little bit more volume as well, but it's beautiful and I will use it up. Don't think it'd be a repurchase. The highlighter, I think if you're somebody like me that you like a kind of more lit from within glass-like quality to a highlight, you'll like it. But if you are a beauty that's like, honey, I want to be seen from space, I want the sparkle, the glitz, the glitter, the everything, you're also going to really love it. The tint, I think, is absolutely stunning. I would more use this. I'll use it now and just powder, but I'm somebody that I actually tend to go a little bit more matte, soft matte in the summertime, and I like to be a little bit more dewy in the wintertime. I don't know why we reverse that. I don't want dewy in the summertime when I'm just going to sweat it off. I've never understood that. That's my own personal thing, but I would love to use this in the wintertime. I think it just gives a beautiful glow and radiance to the skin, which is something that I'm lacking and I need in the summertime. But highly recommend. I really like that. The gloss is great. The blushes are beautiful, quite pigmented, but also very soft and very blurring and buildable, which I really, really like. So you can make it super intense or tone it down. The palette, I know I only tried a couple of mattes and I cannot attest to long wearability. I will definitely update you guys though, but I mean, how easy was this eye look and how beautiful and impactful is it? I say overall, everything was a win. Like the liners I really like. Again, I don't know how long wearing this is going to be. I'll update you guys on that. The powder though, stand out. It does blur and it looks absolutely stunning, but it's not so powdery that I look dry and cakey. Like I do not look dry and cakey at all. And I have that experience a lot, hence not using powder. I think we had a win. Let me know what you guys think. What was your standout product? What do you think worked the best for me? What do you think was a no? Are any of these on your wish list? Are any of these your holy grails? I would like to know. Let's have that conversation down below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and joining my beauty family. You can also join the channel membership to get additional perks. I love you beauties. Stay happy, healthy, and safe. And of course, be your own best beautiful. Bye beauties.